Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I'm your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside two other short track guys in the studio tonight. Jim Pokrant, driver, the 07 sportsman at Five Flag Speedway here, and 2021 sportsman champion at Five Flag Speedway. And Ted Baber Video Productions here locally at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. What's up, guys?
Good evening, sir.
I am too excited to get this one going.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we've got a really good show. We're going to cover up last week at Crisp in Cordele with the Pro Late models and the Super Late models, and some upcoming events coming this weekend. Really all over the country. We're going as from Ohio to Washington, and we've got a very special guest tonight. We're going to bring on here in just a second. Basically, actually, before we get to that, what about that sportsman thing yesterday in practice, Jim? I heard something that you found something.
I'm tickled to death, man. These new 8-inch tires they put us on are awesome. It's the first time that old girl's seen the racetrack since the Derby crash, and it's a new car. And man, those F70s, I can drive that thing to the apex. It's just, I was tickled when I got out of that car. And we only run it twice. I didn't need to run it anymore. I mean, I've been doing this for 27 years, and I know what I want, the feel I want. The feel was great, man. The track was really good the other night, and man, I'm tickled. Now we just got a few little odds and ends, get some decals on the car, and be ready for April the 9th is our race. So we'll be our debut. And I'm telling you, I can't imagine those are 4 old tires that have been laying in a trailer that I got on there. I can't imagine what that thing's going to do with 4 brand new skinnies on it and just let her eat, so I'm happy. I want to thank Martin Beck for coming out, and Ben Cranford for buying me dinner last night, even though, we helped him get faster in his pure stock. So, And Five Flags changed the rules this year. I can run in pure stock if I want to. So Ben's going to miss a couple races because, he's a boat captain. I'm going to get in the pure stock and drive it some just for fun, and I've already asked some of the guys, and they're like, we don't care. That'd be awesome, man. We'd have you in the class. So I'm going to, and, of course, the other news is the outlaw stock, which we've stripped one car down. We've sold one car. I told y'all we bought all that equipment, and we're going to be outlaw stock, hopefully by the Derby.
All right. So, well, everybody in pure stock says, sure, come on, now.
Yeah, well, if I win in Ben's car, they're not going to be very happy about it, but, it's just fun, dude. I love it. I had a blast yesterday. It's just, I haven't driven sat in a car since the Derby, and just to go out there and fly like that, I'm tickled, so.
That's a completely different feel between the tires, too, because you got big difference in size and composition on those tires.
Oh, wow, yeah, and you can't make them mad. I run that thing in there, turned it sideways, and the next lap it's stuck. I'm like, okay, good deal, because that's the way I drive hard. So hopefully it'll help me with that. But
well, defending champion going in there with a positive vibe, with the changes that have gone on with the Sportsman Series, and you're feeling confident about it already.
Oh yeah,
you
motor pulled good. Transmission, I took some gear away from it because I figured with them bigger tires we were going to roll the center much faster, and we did. I was still getting to the chip, but it was fun. I'm telling you, we're going to have something for him this year. And defending champion, I'd like to defend that and then do a mic drop at the awards banquet, and because this is my last full season, I'm going to run outlaw stock some next year and maybe some of the Wheelman Series races.
They're going to have to put an asterisk on the track record because there's no doubt in my mind it's going to get obliterated this year.
Oh yeah, we were running around on old tires. We were running lap times equal to the Derby qualifying.
Wow. With
new tires last year. So, 2050s, there's no reason we should be in the 19s probably by the end of the season. So
definitely.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Well, that's always something to look forward to in the season. I know you got delayed a little bit because of the weather, and then they did get the ARCA race in, but and you got to wait for opening night, and you got some good things going on right now.
Well, the only thing that stinks about that rain out was as soon as Tim called it, the rain stopped.
Yep.
About an hour later, the sun came out, and we're all just sitting around, just our jaws dropping, like, come on. But I understand, as a promoter, you're going to lose people in the grandstands. People aren't going to drive. The guys from Mobile said they weren't going to come, so I understand why he pulled the plug. I mean, I get it. He said he owes us a race, so we'll see.
It looked like it was going to be horrific all day, so you never know.
And it got pretty nasty. We were at the shop, and it got kind of ugly. So,
like I say, God doesn't watch the Weather Channel, so.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, well, that past weekend here really in Cordele didn't. The weather didn't have anything to do with that. With Justin South, I think Justin and Giovanni Ruggiero really had a battle to the end. They said a photo finish, but I think it was more of a a front end. But that was a great race with 4 or 5 laps to go. I think they had a late caution. And Justin South ends up, and I think last episode we mentioned Justin South being around from this area.
Right.
Was a great win for him. And then, one of our favorites, Bubba Pollard pulls off that win on Sunday, I believe it was, at Crisp. So that, he's got 3 wins this year with the Red Eye, the Speed Fest, and then finished second to Ty Majeski twice already. So, I mean,
yeah, better look out.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's leading the Southern Super Series points right now, and he won that race Sunday with no left front fender. And I'm going to tell you something, that Cordele track looks like a lot of fun. I think they have a class close to mine. I think it'd be fun to go up there and run it because that track looks like you can run inside, outside. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So it looked like a pretty good show. I mean, like I said, there's a video of his fender coming off and hitting a camera. Okay. So maybe it helped the car. Maybe it cooled the left front down and made it grip better. I don't know, but he did a hell of a job. That was cool to see. And Justin South, for him to come back, haven't been in a competitive car in 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And comes back and does that door-to-door fender banging finish was awesome. So we're happy with that. We're glad to see it. That's good racing, and that's what we want.
Yeah. I think he's just, I think at the beginning of the season, we talked about that short track thing just has a big turnaround. After 2 or 3 weeks, that's really off time.
Right.
And that's it. You turn right around in January and you go right back to racing, and he's just knocked off 2 or 3 wins in a couple of seconds, and we still got the rest of the year to go.
I'm looking forward to this doubleheader coming at Five Flags on the 8th and 9th because that's going to be interesting because that race also determines who gets to run the SRX series.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we'd love to see Bubba do it. I mean, he won, from 17th last time he ran Pensacola with that doubleheader. So it's going to be interesting. It's like I said, we're going to have some good racing this year. I think the track's going to get better, and I think things are going to be really good.
Well, they did find out something during that ARCA race that you cannot come off of 4, spinning the tires, and then catch that new asphalt because it will hurt you.
Yeah, you can't be blowing the tires, that's for sure. Yep.
All right, we're going to run down a few of the, like a little small list of some of the major action, if you can put it that way. This weekend at Jumpstart 125 at Carteret County Speedway. Kicks off the Solid Rock Carriers Big Money Late Model Series. They've got over 20-plus entries there at the Crystal Coast for $10,000 to win. So it seems like a lot of these short track races are becoming 10 and plus, and bonus money on top of that. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of attraction from drivers all over the country, including our guest and others around the country that come in and have time off to run these events. And then the Apple Cup 125 at Tri-City Raceway. That's a Northwest Super Late Model Series in Benton City, Washington. That goes way out there. Mm-hmm. April 2nd and 3rd. It's all coming up this weekend with the Pro Late Models as well. Opening night at Anderson Speedway. I think our guest might have a little bit of information about Anderson for their 75th season opener at Anderson Speedway. It's a high bank short bull ring that maybe we get a little insight here in just a little bit about that. Opening night at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, marking, and get this, their 118th year of auto racing at the fairgrounds.
Wow.
Bandoleros, front runners, pure stocks, street stocks, and limited late models, pro late models will be there as well. It's just a little teaser for April 2nd and 3rd this weekend coming up with all these big major races. And speaking of our area, we'll go ahead and jump in and welcome our guest. This is the 2015 ARCA Racing Series champion, 2019 NASCAR Gander Outdoor Series regular season champion, Grant Enfinger from Fairhope, Alabama. Grant, thank you so much. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Yeah, doing great. Having a great evening out here, so I appreciate the conversation with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here this evening with us, too.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, man. We've been watching you race for a long time, man. Yeah. We're fans for sure.
As a matter of fact,
yes,
one of the things I wanted to remind you about was an ARCA race back many days ago. When I happened to be in the pits when you came in for a pit stop, and the car right behind you, the pit right behind you, the tire carrier came around the corner of his car, and you tagged the front end of that car, and I was completely concerned that it was going to do something to the aero on your car, but It didn't do anything because you went out there and you just showed them how to get home with it. I won the race. It was all great.
I remember that now that you mention it. So I forgot we had fender damage in there from the pits. But yeah, tire hanger was, and got our fender pretty good. But yeah, I do remember that. And man, known Ted for a long time.
Yeah.
He's videoed some races for us back in the day at Mobile and Pensacola and all that. So it's good talking to y'all.
Yeah, I think he also has video of that night that you and Vanderlei got into it. I was sitting in the turn one grandstands that night, and that freaked me out because you were trying to get out of the car and he hit you in the door, and I thought, what the heck is he doing?
Yeah, that's one thing about short track racing. You never know what's going to happen. That still baffles me to this day. But yeah, it's. That's why you got to go to the track. You never know what stupid thing we're going to do next.
Amen to that. Trust me, I've been doing it a long time myself, and I've done Ted's got some video of me doing stupid stuff, and it's just like you see it and shake your head and go, why did I do that? But
you're just caught up in the moment, and you don't know what the helmet head's taking over at that point.
We'd strap our helmets on. I think our brain falls into the passenger floorboard, and we just get silly because he's got one. The first time Ted ever filmed me, I picked a guy up and sent him about the flag stand, and Ted latched on to me about a lap before that. I was beating this dude's rear bumper off, and I finally picked him up and sent him. And Ted got the video. I still have that. It's on VHS. That tells you how old that tape is.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Sometimes you don't want proof of all that.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
You just never know.
I got a steering wheel thrown at me that night and a dirt clod when I got in the infield. But.
Hey,
well, Grant, let's go back some time and get a little bit of our listeners some information about how you really got started and what drove your interest to getting into racing.
Yeah, I didn't really come from a racing family or anything. My dad was a big race fan. He's an attorney over in Fairhope. Mostly divorce attorney and stuff like that, in Montrose, Alabama, actually. But he had a good friend of his, Glenn Cooley, that raced out of Mobile with his sons, Mark and Bobby Cooley and Matt. And we would go down to Mobile International and hang out with those guys. And man, I fell in love with it, from an early age and just would always want to go to the racetrack with them. And we go to Talladega, as a family and every year. And I wore my dad out for basically 4 or 5 years about getting a go-kart. And when I was 11, he got me a go-kart and we started racing go-karts and then Legends cars and then super late models, around Mobile and Op.
Yeah, when you got to that late model level after all those years, who was your biggest competitor there? In this area, if you would, Mobile, Pensacola. If you went to Montgomery, who was your biggest
I don't
rival?
know if y'all have heard of him or not, but Cale was pretty good at those days at Mobile. And Cale Gale, who was actually my spotter this weekend at Coke.
Oh wow!
Oh, cool,
right.
Cool, yeah.
For me this year. But yeah, Cale was I'd say the big guy around Mobile. But at that time there was Scott Carlson, Eddie Mercer. There was a host of guys. Bradbury. Anytime he would come from Birmingham, he was the one to beat. My opinion, short track racing has always been pretty strong there in the Southeast, especially in the super late model division, and it's no different now. I feel like there is always a host of really good teams and really good drivers down there.
Oh, yes.
All right. Do you have any late model plans this year?
We were talking about national, but no for sure plans. We ran a few last year, did the Derby the last couple of years, right. with Archie St. Hilaire. But nothing firmed up right now. Honestly, my focus is 100% on the truck deal.
Right.
Now that I'm back with a team in North Carolina and spend a lot of time at the shop. Chevrolet has us doing a little bit of a different schedule this year, so that's a focus. But hopefully we're able to squeeze some in this year.
Well, it's really awesome to see a guy that it's for somebody like me who sits in the grandstands and gets to watch, and I run a street stock, but to see a guy like you succeed in the Craftsman, the Camping World Truck Series, it's super cool because you're a guy that wins, and you're a contender every time you unload. And to see a guy that we watched race and came up to get to that level is just awesome, and we're fans for sure, man. If I'm watching a race, you're the one I'm cheering for, I can promise you.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, God has blessed me to live my dreams for quite a while now. When I was about 15 or so, racing Legends cars around there at Sunny South and all around there, that's when I decided, hey, like, one way or another, I want to make a living of this, and obviously the goal was driving, but it was, at all costs. Hey, this is what I want to do for a living, and it definitely hasn't been a very easy roller coaster ride. So moved up here as soon as I graduated from South Alabama there, and I think I've been in North Carolina 14 or so years now. So been a while, and definitely very blessed to be able to do what I love for a living.
Right. And how did your breakthrough? We've all seen the movie 3. You only get one chance to run the Cup. I know it's not the Cup, but you probably are comfortable, with the success you've had in the Truck Series. But how did that breakthrough come from your short track to the position you're in now?
A lot of bouncing around and a lot of roller coaster rides and a lot of really low lows and high highs, I guess. But I guess to give the cliff notes, as soon as I graduated South Alabama, I went to work for an ARCA team in the Carolinas, just doing whatever, working on cars, driving the hauler, mechanicking, crew chiefing some, and then I started parking their ARCA car a few times and really learned the series, learned a lot of the nuances of those cars and made a lot of good contacts and good friends and learned a lot during that year, and was kind of able to take a little bit of, believe it or not, starting park success and transfer that with some help. There's a law firm in Montgomery, Alabama, the Beasley Allen Law Firm, who supported me throughout my late model career,
right.
And they were a big part of helping me run 4 or 5 ARCA races a year for a couple of 3 years, and that's kind of where I started earning a good reputation, and took quite a while to finally break through and get that first win in the ARCA series. But we always ran good. That was in our own kind of family owned stuff, but man, it was extremely tough. I look back on that now and it was, I guess, good memories, but at the time it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of financial stress that I just very, very tough. I feel like those days allowed me to truly appreciate all the car owners and team owners that I've had since then, and I've had quite a few, and I try to always appreciate the car owners, because it's so tough to get these vehicles on track. But I would say that the ARCA series is kind of where I made my name, and able to have success there, and really for the last 7 or 8 years, I haven't driven full time for all of it the last 7 or 8 years, but I've been in fully funded good equipment for 7 or 8 years now, and that's something as a race car driver, that's something you always want. You're looking at the guys that are buying tires every week and have good motors and stuff like that, and the Truck Series is no different, only you have a lot more of them. You have the top 20 in the Truck Series, top 25, they're spending all the money you can spend. They're buying all the right stuff, and I've been and blessed enough to be in that good equipment for a while now, and definitely very, very blessed to be able to make my living driving race trucks.
Well, all the athletes have a certain moment that goes through their careers that they kind of memorize. Do you remember your very first win in a race?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, there's been, a few of them that have trumped them. But I mean, when we were racing go-karts, I mean, my dad, who I love and who's always supported me in racing and everything like that, he had zero mechanical ability. And, it was a huge struggle in go-karts. And, we'd be running around there with 5 or 6 other karts some nights. And, I mean, struggle to run last, and definitely remember as Baker, Florida, we won our first go-kart race together. And it was definitely a great feeling. And at that time, it was, I was, 12, years old or something like that.
So after your win in Baker at that early of an age, is that what kind of had an eye opener for like maybe this is something for me?
It happened after that. When I was racing Legends cars and really taking it's super serious at an age, when I got to be 14, 15, 16, and I realized, hey, the way you win races is hard work at the shop, and that's when I said, hey, okay, the harder you work on this thing, the faster you go, the more races you win, and able to have quite a bit of success in the Legends cars at that age. And at that time, I was like, hey, this is what I want to do for a living. Kind of whatever it takes, I'm gonna try to make a go of it. So, I'd say that age 15 is kind of when that fire really started burning, to kind of, go racing and do whatever it takes to do that. So, I definitely had a lot of fun as a family, racing go-karts, but especially racing Legends cars. And that's where it started taking it serious.
Right. Do you ever use the sim to get used to some of the tracks, or just kind of stay in the group of, what you're trying to accomplish?
I'm very fortunate this year. Stuff changes quite often, but, Chevrolet is very much behind their 23 truck this year. GMS and Chevrolet have given me more support this year than I've ever had. And I've been to Chevrolet sim. We're at the end of March now. I would say I've averaged. We use simulation constantly. It's constantly getting better and better. There's obviously a lot of variables in what we do. The tires Goodyear is bringing us are always changing. Stuff is always evolving, aero-wise and stuff like that. But GMS has a great engineering program, and we utilize the manufacturer sim a lot. But I also, utilize iRacing, and for instance, for a track like COTA, where I've only been there once, I was on iRacing. I bet you 30 or 40 hours before I went to COTA, not including what I did at the manufacturer sim. So, that stuff is very beneficial for a driver, that doesn't have a lot of laps at a certain place. There'll be other places, like if I've been to Texas as many times as I've been to Texas, 7 or 8 times, iRacing is not going to help me so much there. But a place that I don't have a lot of experience at, or road course or something, it's very, very beneficial for us.
Right.
Cool.
And our practice, I mean, we're getting the last couple of years we haven't got any practice. This year, on average, we're getting 20 minutes of practice. So, like at COTA, I think we made 5 timed laps, maybe 4 timed laps. So you don't, as a driver coming up now, like you don't have time to figure out your stuff. You have to be fully prepared before you get there. And hopefully the first time you come in, or the first time, when practice ends and you're ready for qualifying, like you've got to be able to tell the team what you need to be better. You can't be learning the track, unfortunately, these days.
Well, we're short track guys, and apparently from the looks of the schedule, you got one coming up at Martinsville. You're going to be running the paperclip. What does the notebook look like for that race?
Yeah, definitely got a love-hate relationship with that place. as few as short tracks as we go to in the truck series, I'm always amped up to get to any short track. Martinsville and the truck series can just be brutal. I mean, we're in an era now where people would just run over you. They may be 2/10 slower than you, but still find a way to hit you going in the corner. And it just, I've been fortunate enough to win there a couple years ago, and like I said, I always love driving the short tracks, but part of me cringes because I know we're going to have a caution with 20 or 30 laps to go, and then just everybody's stupid comes out, including mine. You gotta be able to get right in there with them.
Yep.
You driving respectful is not going to change the other 35 drivers out there.
No, they're not necessarily going to do exactly what you want them to do, and they're probably you may or may not be doing what they want you to do either.
Yep, exactly.
I know exactly what he's talking about, albeit the sim world, because I've run those tracks in the sim with my rig here. But, you have people that go and qualify and they're not really that good. But then they start in the back and then, you're trying to maneuver your way finessefully, what they call aggressively caution.
Yes.
And then you've got somebody that didn't qualify that good that thinks that they're faster now.
Yeah.
And they come up and they just drive right through you or by you or something, and it ruins your day. And I imagine in the real world that same thing happens.
Right.
It's got to be on your conscience.
It does, and NASCAR has given us such. There's always, as race car drivers, we've always wanted to win. Everybody wants to win every time you get on the track, but there's so much incentive on winning now, and in my opinion, there's not enough incentive not to wreck. Everything is based off the playoffs, and you win and you get in, and while points are still valuable, people, if somebody's running fifth, he's gonna not take fifth and go to the house with a whole truck. He's gonna, try to push it too far and, drive through 3 or 4 of them and 5 or 6 of them wreck because of it. And that's just kind of the era we're in. And, also in the truck series, we're running the Elmore motors, which is a great cost-saving tool for us. It's definitely helped our team owners a lot financially. But the gearing we run for, where Martinsville used to be a 620 gear, now I think, don't hold me to this, but I think we're like a 514 gear or something like that. Right. And it's very hard to pass. Like we normally, when you go to Martinsville, you would work on forward drive. You would be spinning the tires off the corner, similar to a super late model at Pensacola.
Right.
Where you got to have an egg under your foot. Well, with the gearing the way it is, you don't really do that. You're trying to carry as much speed to the center, and you don't really have the drive issue on exit. So it makes it even harder to pass because if you slow down a little bit trying to get around somebody, your motor's bogged down, and now you can't pass him off the corner. If he checks you up just a little bit in the center, he can still stab the gas and be wide open. And it's really added a difficulty, I feel like, to passing cleanly. So that's just another excuse for us to run over each other, more or less. And, unfortunately, that seems to happen in Martinsville quite a bit.
Yes. The car, well, in this case, the trucks never get back on the truck the way they came off, that's for sure. The paint's always rubbed off, the parts laying in the infield, and angry drivers everywhere.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with you. I see a lot of that in these younger guys in NASCAR that don't have any respect, and they think you just run over somebody to win a race. And it used to be everybody had respect for each other and you raced each other hard. If you got into somebody, it was just racing. You didn't do it intentionally.
Yes, it's it's definitely evolved, in a bad way, in my opinion, over the last 10 or so years. And you see it in the local ranks, and you see it in NASCAR, and unfortunately, it's just kind of accepted. And I spent my first 6 months in 2017 when I first started racing full time in the Truck Series, trying to earn all these guys respect. And okay, I felt like, once I proved to them, I was going to race them good, I was going to race them how I wanted to be raced, that it would come back around, and it never did. I wasted 6 months of my career doing that, and finally I just had to have a long talk with myself. And it's like, look, hey, you can't race like this if you want to win, and you want to be successful, and you want to keep doing this for a living. Like, unfortunately, you kind of got to race that way now. So that's what I do. I don't like it, but unfortunately, that's how we race in the Truck Series.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I'm the old guy in my division, and I'm probably one of the old guys if I'm 51 now. And I race against a bunch of kids, and mommy and daddy got plenty of money, and I got stuffed in the wall at the Snowball Derby by a kid who just didn't care. If he drove straight up off the corner, we'd have raced side by side, but he made a right turn like I wasn't there, and we both went in, and it destroyed my car. And I'm like, come on, show the old guy some respect. I don't beat and bang on you guys. I race you hard. And I've won all the races I've won. I've never had to move anybody. I've just raced you hard. And that's what the fans want to see, is hard racing, not wrecking people.
Yeah. And, I feel like it's, that's how you want to race. That's how the racers want to race. That's how your most of your short track fans want to see. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not the era we're in right now. And I feel the same way when I watch the pro late model races and when I'm running some of the super stuff and watching some of that stuff. You see that it's not just in the NASCAR world, that's for sure.
No. I mean, look at the Snowball Derby last year. Chandler Smith just flat picked up Derek Thorne like it was nothing and sent him. And I'm like, dude, you're in a faster car, passing clean. You didn't have to take his back tires off the ground. But some people are going to do that. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'd probably turn Ted here for a win at the Snowball Derby, because it's even in my class, it's prestige. I mean, I'm a first-time track champion this year. Should be more than that, but I'm a low-budget guy. I don't have a lot of money, and I mean, I'm struggling to get to the racetrack sometimes. But I love the sport. I love to watch you guys race. I don't watch the Cup Series so much anymore, but I think the Xfinity and the trucks is where the best racing is in NASCAR right now. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, trucks by far. There's no doubt. The trucks and the Pro Stocks and NHRA Series, those are my two favorite classes. Anytime the trucks get involved, that's where I'm at. Xfinity and the Cup Series, it's just gotten... I think Xfinity is kind of like picking up where Cup is taking off. But I think the trucks, I hope they stay where they are. And Grant, you keep banging fenders with the best of them, and you're one of the best. I can just, your first race was 2010 at Talladega, and your first win was 6 years later at Talladega. So that tells me that this dude is like in for the long haul, and he has been. He's been a local guy for us. I remember 15 years ago watching him out there in Mobile.
Oh yeah.
So my big question is from the sim world, because I've actually won at Talladega, and I know how exhilarating it is in the sim world. But your first win in 2016, the Fred's 250 at Talladega. What was your heart rate like? Like 250? Had to have been.
Yeah, definitely. That goes down to. Probably one of those lifelong memories that'll always, be on the top 5 moments of my life, period. Definitely a great feeling, something that was, like you mentioned, not an overnight success and not something that came easy, for sure. But yeah, to be the first one, my first ARCA win after, I guess, 4 or 5 years of running seconds and thirds was in Mobile. So I was definitely blessed to be able to have the first big National Series win at my home track in Mobile, which was huge and still a huge break for me. But Talladega, obviously in the Truck Series, the place that kind of started it as a race fan for me, going to Talladega to be able to win there, to win with my family there. and my wife being there, and friends and family. Greg Allen from Beasley Allen was there. So many friends and family and so many people that were there that had supported me and been a huge part of me being able to follow my dream. We're actually at that race. So yeah, that's, makes it just as cool to have those people with you as it is, that first win and to be at the home track. So yeah, definitely, it was a huge day. I don't remember my heart rate, I think it was kind of business as usual in the heat of the moment, but that was actually with GMS Racing, which is the team I'm back with now. And, we had a really good Chevrolet that day. And had a one of the better trucks all day and able to lead half the race and come away with it at the end. And, I'd say my heart rate probably got the highest when it was time to choose, which lane we're going with at the end and on a green-white checkered. So, yeah, definitely a great memory there at Talladega.
Yeah, you go from the grandstand to the flag stand. Now, that's history right there.
Yeah.
Into that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Grant, I know you're awfully busy getting ready. You probably have an off weekend and getting ready for the following weekend. And we really, really appreciate you taking the time out to spend this quality time with us, the Short Track Guys podcast, and learned a lot more about Grant Enfinger, and much success to you in the future. Any shout outs that you can plug in to kind of help yourself?
We still have local supporters there that help me when I will run a late model, and there's a guy by the name of Kevin Kircher down there at TKC Construction that has been a big part of getting me racing full time over the last 5 or 6 years. So shout out to them and all the friends and family that I have down there. So Fairhope will always be home for us. My wife's family and my family are still there, so we still get home quite a bit. Not as much as we'd like to, but Fairhope will always be home for us in the Eastern Shore and definitely Mobile and Pensacola. Those will be the home tracks, and appreciate all the support we have down there. And it's great talking to y'all. It's obvious y'all are all just true racers, and it's been a good time with y'all tonight.
Well, we do appreciate it, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Good luck in your future endeavors, man, and we'll be watching and cheering for you.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Thanks again, Grant.
Yep, we'll see you guys.
All right, take care.
Yeah, okay, well, that was Grant Enfinger from Fairhope, Alabama. I appreciate him taking the time out to spend, that quality time with us with Short Track Guys podcast. And, it doesn't get any better than that sometimes, other than talking to Jim, with his sportsman. And Ted, you guys always kind of motivate me to talk short track racing. And when we get, episodes like this together, it just elevates our program a little bit. And I appreciate you and appreciate Grant and spending the time with us. It's really special to me.
Very.
Thank you, Ted.
That was great.
Hey, quick shout out to our boy Christian Rose Racing. Go online, find Christian Rose Racing, and he finished 10th at Five Flag Speedway and in his ARCA debut at our old track, and ran very well, broke a transmission, came back to finish 10th. We're very proud of him. We would love to ask a favor of our fans. If you would go to Christian Rose Racing, put in the comments section hashtag almost heaven or hashtag West Virginia or both for him. He really would appreciate it. He needs it to help keep his sponsor, and we want to help him along. He said he would be back on our podcast sometime soon, so keep an ear for that also.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy, and the first time we've actually met him face to face, and he's what a great guy.
And he's really tall.
Yeah, he's a tall little joker, but he's a great dude, man. He was fun to talk to. He apologized and said, man, I don't run my Facebook page. Somebody does it for me. And he says, I do want to be back on your podcast. He said, and I will be. So something else to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
And on a sadder note, a young lady that races at Five Flag Speedway with us in the Pure Stock Division, owns a car. Her mom passed away, Sarah Doherty. We want to wish best wishes to her family and her dad, Bob, who I know personally, great people, love him to death.
Very.
and just want to tell them thank you for what you do for racing, and we're really sorry for your loss.
Absolutely. Condolences from all of us.
On that note, let's go, Brandon.
Indeed. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon. and
we-
let's go, race fans. And we
That's it.
appreciate all the support out there. It is our motivation. And Short Track Guys podcast will be here hopefully every week. And we're getting bigger and bigger. And guys, I appreciate you guys taking your time out to put this together, because, without you, we wouldn't be doing this. So I appreciate it. And thanks to all our listeners. You're what keeps us going.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And keep listening and give us 5-star reviews whenever you can. Give us a good review. Contact me at my email address, jbp07@hotmail.com, if you want to give me a suggestion or talk to me. Any of my friends out there that listen, hey, you got a suggestion, we're open for it.
Yep.
Thank you for all you guys for listening to us and keeping us going, because without you guys, we wouldn't do this.
Right.
Ted, thank you. Thomas, this is your baby, and I appreciate you letting me have a part of it.
Ted_Baber@yahoo.com. You can get in touch with him with all your video needs, in-car, helmet cam, blah, blah, blah.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those camera things.
Yeah.
In-car, out-of-care.
Medicare, Medicaid.
That's right. Whatever you need, Ted's got it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'll cut a lot of that out. yeah. In-car, helmet cam, anything your video needs, Ted Baber, Video Productions.
Hey,
he is your man.
I don't do colonoscopies, I'm sorry.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.